Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how we can import JSON data into Microsoft Excel. JSON is structured data, but that's generally easy for machines to read. Many a times you will need to convert this data and present it to users in an Excel. This could allow them to review the data and do additional analysis when needed. Whatever be the use case, Microsoft Excel along with Power Query helps us do just that. I have a sample JSON with me. I will paste it in our Excel worksheet. You will be able to find most of the functions for transformations under the Data tab on the Excel ribbon at the top. Microsoft Excel also allows us to import JSON files directly instead of using strings. We can import JSON files by going to the Data tab, then select from File, and you will see an option from JSON. This will allow you to upload the file. However, today we are going to talk about transforming the data that's in our cell. So, let's start with that. I'm going to select the column that we're going to transform. I will go to this option under Data tab, select from Table or Range on the ribbon. This now allows us to select the required data range. This means that if you have multiple rows, you can actually select the entire set, so you can transform all the data, very similar to what we have in pivot tables. Once you have selected this data range and say OK, it opens up the Power Query Editor window for us. This is where all the magic happens. This is where we will define what kind of transformation we are going to do on our data. Since the content that I pasted earlier is a string, we first need to parse this value to make sure that it is a valid JSON. Select the data in the cell and go to the Transform tab on the top. Under the ribbon, in the section called Text Columns, you will find the option to parse data. When you click this, Excel will automatically parse the string to make sure that it is a valid JSON. Microsoft Excel supports XML and JSON both. We are going to be looking only at JSON today. As you can see, I have now applied the parse, and Excel has added a step to its process of transformation. On the right-hand side navigation, you will see that parsed JSON appears in the list. Now that Excel has parsed the content, let us expand the JSON structure to get the rows that we need. On the top right of your data column, where it reads Column 1, you will see an expand icon. When you click this, you will be able to expand the data into its data fields that are listed here. I'm going to deselect the option, Use Original Name as Prefix, since the data fields that we are going to extract are unique. Let us go ahead and expand this. Now, you see that Excel has transformed the contents as a row. If you notice, there is another column called Person, with the value as record. This contains a nested JSON object. Let's go ahead and expand this the same way we did for our earlier object. We can see that Excel has neatly laid out the entire row from the JSON object. Now, if you have a very simple JSON, this is all you would need to do in order to get your rows. However, today we are using nested JSON with array of string and objects. You will notice here, as we look at this row, there are a couple of other columns where we see value as record or list. So, we need to expand this further to make sure our data is all flattened. A quick tip here, you may sometimes want to review the content of the nested object before you expand. We may not always know the structure and values inside. You can do this by clicking the record or the list link. Excel opens up this data as a separate table. You can now review the data, and this will help you understand how to expand or merge contents on the next steps. Once you have completed your review, go to the Query Settings section on the right. Here you can remove the last applied steps. This will take you back to the previous step with the earlier expanded rows. Let us have a look at the contents of the phones column. We can now then proceed from here. Let us go ahead and expand the phones column the same way we did earlier objects. And this will give us 2 additional columns, home phone number and the mobile number. We are now left with the lists. How do we handle this? Excel provides us a couple of ways to handle this. As we saw earlier, the email list consists of 2 email IDs. We can use Excel to extract the values, append them into the same column. We are going to do that for the email column. Let us go ahead and use semicolon. And you can use your preferred delimiter here as well. That's it. You now have all the values of the array combined and presented to you in a single cell. Now let's do the same for the emergency contacts column. If you remember, this is an array of objects. It's not a list of strings. Because this is a nested JSON, what we will need to do here is go to the expand icon. Select the option to expand the list into multiple rows. Excel provides us an option to take this list and create them as multiple rows. If you had noticed, we had 2 objects in the array. We can expand this further to get the field values. This time, we'll go ahead and select the original column names as prefix, just to ensure that the original name column is unique, and there are no duplicates in the column names in the final output. And that's it. We have completed the steps to transform our JSON data into Excel rows. You can now run this transformation on hundreds of JSON. Let us go ahead and click the Save and Load button on the ribbon, and let Excel work its magic. Excel now creates a new worksheet for us, with all the rows neatly laid out. And that's all we needed to do. It's a quick and easy way to import JSON data into an Excel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was a helpful tutorial on how to transform JSON data to Excel. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I will try and get back to you. Any feedback or corrections will also be highly appreciated.